here's another lesson today. This one is about developing listening skills. Oh, I think all of us could use that, including me. I'm not just picking on you, just including me too. Okay, so it says here, developing listening skills. Listening is as important to communication as speaking. Unfortunately, it's often the most overlooked part of communication. Have you ever tried to make a point when others weren't paying attention? How do you think the person feels if you don't listen as well? So you've got to think about that. If you're not listening or paying attention, how does that other person feel about that? I know how I feel. I could definitely tell you how I feel about that, but I don't want to be nagging at you for it. So I won't. Okay, so instead, I'm going to give you the tips for being an active listener. So be an active listener. Active listening means listening and responding with full attention to what's being said. Like not playing games, not listening to one AirPod, not like watching what everybody else is doing and not listening to whoever is speaking. And I'm not just talking about me, I'm talking about everywhere you are. When you listen actively, you fully concentrate on the speaker rather than think about what you want to say. Active listening involves giving both verbal and nonverbal feedback to the speaker. Verbal feedback might be a simple yes or okay. It might be a question or a statement. Nonverbal responses include maintaining eye contact, nodding your head to show you understand, or shaking your head when you don't understand. Delivering your message. The way you speak is just as important as the words you use. For example, repeat the following sentence out loud 4 times. I would be glad to do that for you. Each time, emphasize a different word. Okay, so I'm going to start this. I would be glad to do that for you. Okay, the next word is going to be glad. I would be glad to do that for you. The next word is that. I would be glad to do that for you. And the last one is you. I would be glad to do that for you. So listen to see how the meaning of this sentence changes each time. So every single time I said that, it changed the sentence. So if you want to try that on your own, you can pause the video and try that. Here's the sentence right here. I would be glad to do that for you. And then emphasize on changing each of those words. Okay. The next paragraph says, your tone of voice shows whether you're happy or sad, relieved or upset. The tone you use should always convey your intended message. Controlling your emotions makes it easier for people to clearly receive your message. I know, as a teacher, it's kind of hard for me sometimes because if I'm sick or I have a sore throat or sinus issues, which seems to be, that happens to me quite often, it's hard for me to be enthusiastic. It's hard for me to sometimes control those emotions because, I'm about ready to, fall over because I don't feel good. So, but, that's something I've learned over the years of teaching, that you just have to kind of power through it and try to make the best of it. So choosing the right time to communicate is just as important for good communication. Pick a time when listeners are interested in communicating with you. When others are tired of or preoccupied, they may not give you your full attention, their full attention. It's when one of your parents or both of your parents come home from work, sometimes they just need to set their stuff down, maybe even be able to use the bathroom before you start asking them questions or telling them information that might be some negative information, like maybe something broke at your house, or you're like, the internet doesn't work, we're having problems with the internet. You should, just wait until they can just find the right time is what I'm trying to say. Just try to find the right time. And sometimes you're in a situation where no time is the right time, and you just have to communicate whatever it is going on. Okay, the next paragraph, for good communication, establish rapport, Rapport, and you say it rapport, with your listener. The definition for rapport is harmony or understanding between people. It's the feeling of being listened to and accepted. So if you have good rapport with a certain group or one individual, it's like the conversations flow very well. Each person is, or one person's listening, or they're all listening, and then it just like flows very well. I noticed with teaching 6 different classes a day, well, 7, including one of my other classes in the morning, I noticed the difference in rapport with each of my classes. Sometimes the conversations flow very well. Sometimes it's like I have to kind of pull conversations out of students. So I guess it just depends on how you establish those. So one way to establish rapport is to put other people at ease. Show interest in them, make them feel comfortable, call them by name, and involve them in the conversation. Ask questions or ask for their opinions on a topic. Make sure you give them time to respond. If you act relaxed and comfortable, others will react in the same way too. So what you need to do for your notes for today, it's one simple thing right here. Write down the word rapport, and then I know you wrote down the definition, but I'd like you to add this as well. It's the feeling of being listened to and accepted. And that is the end of the lesson on developing listening skills. So hopefully you guys got something out of this today and will become a better listener. That's my hope. That's my wish.